5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thanks for coming to this unbelievable celebration. It's just, I'm speechless at what the folks here in Honesdale and Wayne County have accomplished. My name's Tim Schaefer. I'm the Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. I'll make remarks in a couple of minutes. But first, I want to hand it over to the Mayor, Derek Williams, Mayor here in Honesdale.
Thanks, Tim. Hey, everybody. This is so beautiful to be here today with all of you, the weather the way it is, with the river babbling in the background, and this wonderful new site. And I've been thinking about here lately quite a bit, and I recall a memory one time of the fireworks in Honesdale, and I came down to the point here with my brother Ryan, and we sat and laid down and saw the fireworks in almost a complete vertical perspective. And it was one of the most special moments I've ever had with anybody in town or anywhere in town. And it's so great to see that this place is now more accessible for everybody to make those kind of memories that they have been for generations. And the history here is so deep. You know, you have in recent planning history, I was talking to my colleague Ryan the other day about, you know, the past 10, 15 years of kind of developing this site, 20 even. And, you know, if you look back even as far back as, like, let's say 2010 or so, there's a Central Wayne Regional Comprehensive Plan that identifies goals and objectives as all comprehensive plans do. And one of the top ones was developing the river access in town. And then since that time, there's been so much extra attention put on here. And even before that time, there was even more attention put on this site, because this is a spot where the rivers converge, and the Dyeberry Forks, which is the original name of Honesdale, would be the place where the Lenape in times past would have come down to do some fishing. It has a huge industrial heritage where there were all sorts of buildings and factories and houses here. At one point there was like a kind of a raceway that took water from the river from the West Branch Lackawaxen and cut it over to the main stem Lackawaxen and created a little bit of an island, because that water was used to power some of the industrial processing here. And it's just amazing to see how things have transformed. And when you have that much time in a space, putting all that attention here, you build this really great foundation where things can blossom, you know. So it seems like things take a long time sometimes, but when the opportunity is right, things can happen really quickly. And that's been able to happen here because of all the wonderful partners that are at the table, from the federal level with the Army Corps, from the state level with Fish and Boat and others, and DCNR. We have the county, who's been a wonderful steward of the site. Locally, we have the borough, and then the citizens and the Lackawaxen River Trails, and people like all of you who have donated money and have come here and marked this place as important and worth investing in. And without that and those public and private partnerships, we wouldn't be able to have this. So it's wonderful to be living in a community where we do have that, and we're able to share in such a wonderful space. And really, that people power is so inspiring to me. The site, prior to this wonderful investment, we had a little bit of a way down to the river that was real steep and kind of rocky, and people were using it, so it was definitely a spot where people went. And leadership in the community, I think, recognized that this is a place that people go, so we should invest in it and make it easier to go there. So now we have a way down that's much more accessible. We used to have a kind of a rickety set of steps over there. We have a beautiful set of steps now, and then this wonderful, long and gentle ADA accessible ramp that can get people of all abilities using this asset. And that accessibility has really blossomed even further and is starting to build momentum on Main Street. So we've seen so much good things happening here that now we have some projects on 12th Street that can connect here to Main Street. And then that is building into the streetscapes project we're working on Main Street with the GHP and Woodland Design and the borough and everybody else. And all of these things are winding together in this cohesive experience that is welcoming and accessible for everybody. And it's just a really humbling and inspiring time to be here with everybody and celebrating that everyday use. Ever since this place has been being worked on, people have been using it every day. Whether or not that caution tape was cut or not, people are down here right from the get, and they continue to use it every day, and it's super wonderful. So thank you all, and it's really great to be here.
I sort of like when people sneak into places they're not supposed to be if it's cool, right? So we'll give them a pass. So next, I'm looking at my cheat sheet here. We have Ryan Jennings from the LRT.
Hello, everyone. I am a member of the Lackawaxen River Trails and also the president and CEO of the Wayne County Community Foundation. And this project is a story of the right people in the right positions at the right time. As Derek said, this project has taken so many different people working together, and the Wayne County Community Foundation, it has the privilege of being the fiscal sponsor for the Wayne Pike Trails and Waterway Alliance Fund, and is a proud partner and funder of this river trail. This project, and pun intended here, has really taken everyone rowing in the same direction to come to fruition. It has taken many conversations over the years, and I want to take a quick second to acknowledge two people who are unable to be here with us celebrating, who were catalysts of this project. Jeff George, who was the inspiration of the designs, and my husband Jim Jennings, whose birthday it is today, and he's very sad to not be here. When we lived in Philadelphia, my husband Jim had a blog called The Pens Porter, where he earned his living and eventually worked at Philadelphia Magazine, being a nosy neighbor and reporting about things that he asked questions about and learned about, true journalism, but mostly about real estate and development. And when we moved to Philadelphia, from Philadelphia back here, I live right across the river, Jim was walking our beloved dog Stella along the Church Street Bridge, and he made a post on Instagram that said, and I quote, "It would be real cool if we started thinking of Honesdale as a historic river town. The waterways that flow through the heart of Honesdale and surrounding area are wild, serene, and downright majestic at times. Would love to make them more prominent and accessible. Any suggestions?" And Derek Williams was prompted by this and said, "Yeah, river walk all throughout town." And James Hamill said, yes. And I think the next day, Jeff George called me at work when I was at the Cooperage and said, "Hey, I hear your husband wants to make a river trail, and I have designs that I did 20 years ago that I'd love to share with him." And a couple of beers later, and multiple people that are here at joined at Jeff's house, then was called the Honesdale River Project was born. And that was a group of people that were interested in enjoying this asset. Then they discovered that there were more people that wanted river walks and trails along the railroad from Honesdale to Hawley. And so that little Honesdale stretch then became this big idea of how can we actually access the river all along the Lackawaxen River. And that has built and added folks like Dan and Molly and Grant and many others that I can't even list today. And Jim was clearly not the only one to have this idea or imagine the river being accessed, but his comment happened at the right time, and the people that saw it were in the right positions. The county commissioners were willing to hear and then fully invested and excited about this project. And as a representative of the Community Foundation, I'd be remiss if I didn't focus a story on collaboration. And this project is community leadership at its best. It took more people than I can mention here today to make this project a reality. From the commissioners to the artists to the landscape designers to the masons who built this, to every donor that has made it possible. And we've each played our part to make it a success. I look forward to continuing to build this coalition with this community to get even further along this project. And I thank all of you for your contribution to make it possible. Thank you.
So next up, we'll have Sheila Eiler from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. You'll see the Fish and Wildlife Service logo on the signs here. This project would not have happened, nor would the ones throughout the watershed happen without the support of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's financial commitment. So, Sheila.
Thanks, Tim. Hello, everyone. I'm incredibly excited to be here today and deeply grateful for this opportunity to celebrate this project along the Lackawaxen River. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is honored to be a partner in this journey. The river is a gem nestled in Pennsylvania that is wild, scenic, and absolutely breathtaking. And now, thanks to your efforts, more people will be able to experience the beauty of this place, connecting nature in ways that will inspire generations to come. For the past 7 years, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has been dedicating funding to conservation across the Delaware River watershed, and it's been an inspiring journey. We've had the privilege of supporting nearly 100 organizations in over 239 projects across the watershed, so it's remarkable work that we've done together. And just talking about numbers, what we've achieved is truly humbling. We've awarded $72 million in federal funding across the basin, and that's leveraged $100 million from other funds, creating a total conservation impact of $172 million. But the real story is not just in the figures, it's in the outcomes. What these investments have done for the land, the water, and the people of this region. So thanks to you all for your efforts. As part of this program, we've restored 77 miles of stream habitat, revitalizing ecosystems and ensuring cleaner, healthier waterways. We've improved management of 32,000 acres of forest, and those are habitats that are critical for biodiversity and climate resilience. We've opened 6,000 acres of public access, making sure people can connect with nature. And we've conserved and enhanced more than 1,100 acres of wetlands, protecting these vital ecosystems that serve as nature's filters. But none of this would be possible without you and the incredible partnerships that we've built along the way. So every single project that you all have worked on and every grant that you've secured has added to these larger accomplishments in the basin. You guys are the heart of the work that happens. And one of our proudest collaborations is that with the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. With these contributions that they've helped with those 6,000 acres of providing public access. Since 2020, the Fish and Boat Commission has received 3 grants from the Fish and Wildlife Service through our Delaware Watershed Conservation Fund, totaling $1.6 million. But here's where the ingenuity shines, is that you all have leveraged that to a staggering $14.5 million in 19 projects across the watershed, including this one here today. So that's a lot of power of partnership and the strength of collaboration. And together, we're not just creating access points, but we're creating opportunities for people to fall in love with nature and to become stewards of the land, water that sustain us all. So to all of you, I say keep going. Keep up the hard work. Keep building those amazing spaces where people can connect with nature. And together, we're not just conserving land and water, but we're making spaces where future generations can share the same passion for nature that we all do. So thank you very much for your work.
Thanks, Sheila. And I see from the list that I'm actually up next, and Molly made the list, so I'm going to follow her lead. And I want to say a couple thank yous and then give you a message at the end. But first of all, thank you to Bill Gibney. Bill is our local commissioner. We have 2 commissioners on the Fish and Boat Commission, Bill and Charlie Charlesworth, who was a voting at large commissioner. But Bill is the one that brought the idea actually to our agency to invest in this after his conversations with Grant and Molly. And then that led to a conversation that we had with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And we had this idea that said, hey, how about we apply, the Fish and Boat Commission apply to the Fish and Wildlife Service, the Delaware River Conservation Fund. You grant the money to us. We won't keep a nickel of it, but we'll establish a really easy way for communities like Honesdale, or in this case, Wayne County, did the application, to apply to us. The grant agreement is between the Fish and Boat Commission and the local entity. We can bring on our partners at DCNR. We can strategically match things so we can leverage that money. And literally, it started with this project, and that lit the spark for, as you heard from Sheila, 19 different projects in the watershed. This almost tenfold leveraged the money. So it all started here. So thank you to Bill for planting that seed. Thank you to Grant and Molly. I'm sure everybody here knows Grant and Molly. I don't know if you know also that Grant received Lifetime Achievement Award from the Pennsylvania Environmental Council last night. So thank you for the leadership there. And we get our work done as a state agency with other partners in government. And I'll tell you, Senator Brown, Representative Fritz, and even though it's not their districts, I feel like Senator Baker could be here, Representative Olsemer could be here. You have an unbelievable team in Harrisburg that works on behalf of Wayne County. And so really want to thank those legislators. Your county commissioners have been with us throughout. Brian Smith, we got to be friends a number of years ago. I keep telling him, and I mean it, we're all in on Wayne County. So this is just another example of that, whether it's here or Some of the lakes that I acknowledge have taken longer than any of us want to fix, but they're coming back. But really thank the county commissioners for their support. DCNR, again, the way this partnership works, I mean, I was literally planting trees with Cindy Dunn along the Susquehanna River on Wednesday, like on our hands and knees, planting trees with our staff. And so we really deliberately try to match our grants with theirs. They're different sources of funding, so they can be leveraged with each other. So really thanks to our partners there at DCNR for everything they've done to help to make this possible. And then ultimately our staff, I can't thank Mark McLaughlin's here. We have two Marks. We got the Marks, Mark Morris and Mark McLaughlin, who run our grant program. If you have ideas if you're listening or watching this and you have other access projects in Wayne County, in Pike County, anywhere, come to us. Mark, I don't know where Mark is, if you want to raise your hand. See Mark over there. See Mark. We want to work with you on making your application as competitive as possible. We are going to be applying for another grant round to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service next year, and we want to include project examples. So let us know how we can help you. The projects start with you guys. I actually sit on the steering committee for the whole Delaware initiative, and public access is one of the things that I and my counterparts in other states have really been driving. So, but it all started with you guys. Last thing I'll say, and it's I don't care if you remember one thing from today, and those of you that heard me speak before know what it's going to be, but wear your life jacket. This is a wear it pin. There's not a lot of water in the river right now. Mother Nature, we could use a little bit of rain here, but come November 1st through April 30th, all canoes and kayaks, all boats under 16 feet, you have to wear your life jacket. It's unequivocal. The cold water kills about 80% of the boating fatalities each year as a result of people not wearing their life jackets. So please wear your life jackets. And Bill, if you want to come up here, I know Bill Gibney wanted to grab a little bit of the fish and boat time just to say a few remarks. So I'll turn it to Bill Gibney, who's the local commissioner here in this district.
Thank you. I wasn't on the script, but there's cookies underneath the table, and that was why I wanted to get up here. But how cool is this? Really, how cool is this? It's a perfect fall day, a gorgeous sight, and around 100 years ago, some visionaries had the idea that they could bring coal from the other side of Farview Mountain to here, put it on boats, and float it all the way to the Hudson and then to New York City to sell the coal. So I'm going to bet there were probably some naysayers at that time that said you can't do it, and they proved them wrong. And now a century later, some more visionaries, the Trail Alliance, had a different idea to use the resources and create a gift for our residents, the tourists, our children, our grandchildren, something that will last far longer than actually the canal system lasted. And to have an opportunity to participate in this whole project was just the ultimate privilege for me. And I'm glad that Molly invited me to dinner that night, and we talked about it, and we could get it going. But as we've heard about how cool it is, this is unique. There is nothing like this in Pennsylvania or anywhere, right? This is unique. And it's a big deal, and it's something that's going to be here for a long time. And many of the people that are involved in this project probably aren't. I don't think, Molly, are you kayaking today? No? So Molly's not going to use it to kayak. This is just genuinely a gift of their hearts for our community to develop as a go-to location to spend the time in enjoying our natural resources in this beautiful river valley. So I'd like to thank everyone, and I'd like you to ask me to join me in applauding their accomplishments for everyone that took part in this over the last few years. Thank you very much for allowing us to get involved and to further expand on stuff like that. Thanks for the time, and I get my cookie.
And there are 7 more cookies up here if anybody else wants to go off script. So next, Dr. Claire Jantz with DCNR. DCNR does phenomenal work. Christine DeTore is here. I think a lot of people know Christine, but Claire will make some remarks on behalf of DCNR.
Thanks, Tim. As Tim said, I'm Claire Jantz. I'm a deputy secretary over the Conservation and Technical Services deputate at DCNR. So under my deputate is the Geologic Survey, the Bureau of Recreation and Conservation, which runs our grant program. And also the Conservation Landscapes program is housed here under my deputate, and the Heritage program is nested within the Bureau of Rec and Con. So we're in the Pocono Forests and Waters Conservation Landscape, the Route 6 Heritage area, and then, you know, obviously our grants program has also come into play at this project. And I do want to give a shout out to DCNR staff. I'm looking into the sun, so I can't tell where Christine is. There's Christine under the tent, and Lauren Possinger. If you don't know Christine especially, she's your regional advisor. So if you want to tap into DCNR funds, she is your go-to person. And then we also have Mary Hunt here, who's the program manager for our Rivers program in central office. And I'll talk a little bit more about the Rivers program in a second. Cindy Dunn, our secretary, regrets that she couldn't be here today. But, you know, Tim knows Tim's been on the road all week. I saw him on Tuesday. Cindy saw him on Wednesday. And then, yeah, and he missed last night's celebration dinner for Grant and others. But it's great stuff that's happening. And so on behalf of DCNR, I want to extend our deepest thanks and appreciation to the Lackawaxen River Trails organization, to Wayne County, to the Borough of Honesdale, the Wayne County Community Foundation, and Fish and Boat and Fish and Wildlife for their collaboration in making this project come to fruition. And this project is really, I know it was decades in the making and took a lot of work to get to this point, but it is a real gift to the community. We walked here and came down the river walk, and just dropping down into the river walk, it's you just get sucked into the ecology of the river, the sound of the river. The noise of Route 6 goes away, and you're right here in the middle of Honesdale, and you get that feeling of peace that many folks get when they're with nature. Most importantly, for the dogs of Honesdale, for Bella, for Diva, this is a great dog walk area, right? I mean, the dog walkers can be a real contingent for support for these types of walking and access points. This is the second of two new river access sites on the Lackawaxen, following the opening of the White Mills site last fall. And this is an incredible boat launch and access point that provides much needed access to the Lackawaxen, which has kind of been forgotten. It's a waterway that has historically had limited access, and so it's wonderful to see it being reincorporated into the community landscape. This site, along with the ones at White Mills, expands outdoor recreation opportunities for local residents as well as visitors. It's a key part of DCNR's strategy to make sure that more and more Pennsylvanians have access to their local waterways across the Commonwealth. This improves the mental and physical well-being of people who live here. It improves the quality of life. It improves property values. There's so many added benefits to a project like this. This is also, river access is also something that Secretary Dunn beats the drum about constantly. When are we getting more river access? Where are we getting more river access? Because she sees the value to the community, but also it's part of community resilience in terms of our social resilience, but also in terms of climate resilience. Our summers have been a little warm lately, and coming down along the Lackawaxen here on a hot summer day will bring just much needed relief from that summer heat. I want to talk a little bit about the Rivers program, because this is a great example of what the Rivers program can accomplish. Through the Rivers program at DCNR, we collaborate with local governments, with nonprofits, with community organizations to make sure that our waterways are healthy and resilient, but also accessible. We focus on restoration, recreation, and stewardship. In terms of restoration, we aim to rehabilitate rivers that have been impacted by environmental degradation, pollution, or neglect. In many cases, we work with DEP on those types of restoration projects, also with Fish and Boat. And those restored rivers are critical to biodiversity as well as overall resilience. On the recreation front, the Rivers Program has helped to open new opportunities to citizens across the Commonwealth. It's essential for all kinds of activities: kayaking, canoeing, fishing, bird watching, and that also helps to build local economies. And finally, stewardship is at the heart of the Rivers Program. As more and more people learn to love the Lackawaxen, we know that they will also want to become interested in the care and responsibility of these resources. So having this access and opening up the river is about fostering a sense of ownership and responsibility to make sure that this is a resource that continues for generations into the future. And again, the Fish and Boat Commission has been a real valuable partner in the success of our Rivers program. So many projects are done in partnership between the Fish and Boat Commission and DCNR. So thanks to Tim and his work and the work of his staff for helping to make that program a success. We've funded over 300 river and water conservation programs across the state, restoring more than 1,500 miles of rivers and improving access at dozens of new sites. So the success of projects like Sycamore Point really underscores the importance of the Rivers Program and of partnerships, because these achievements aren't the result of one organization alone. It's an example of what we can accomplish through partnerships between local, state, and federal entities working towards a shared vision. The Lackawaxen River Trails organization has spearheaded many efforts to enhance recreation in the county. Wayne County, the Borough of Honesdale, and the Community Foundation has been vital. And I want to acknowledge their leadership and dedication. So thank you once again for having me here today and for all the hard work over years, couple of decades that's gone into making this project a reality. This will have a new and lasting impact on the community and for everyone who comes to this site to get access to the Lackawaxen River. So thanks again. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to the next river access point.
All right, so I think I'll introduce the next two together. So next we have Senator Rosemary Brown and Representative John Fritz. We'll let Senator Brown make remarks first, and then Representative Fritz. But one of the things that John said, I think at the last ribbon cutting we had, he said, using your power for good. And I think, what a great example. I mean, I love my job. Like, everybody here loves what they get to do, and I just love that line of, using your power for good. So use it, man.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is good. I think that's all we need to say at this point. But I have to tell you, it's the first time in all these years of saying remarks that I have seen cookies underneath here. So that's a first. That's going to stick with me. But this is like Groundhog Day, I have to say, but it's a good Groundhog Day. We're going to have a third one. And, Tim, you're fabulous. Secretary Dunn is fabulous. The whole team that we have across our state, we're very proud of the environmental work that's being done. And I do want to say, actually, Senator Baker, who's also your other senator in Wayne County, did call me and say, Rosemary, can you give them my best? She's actually at a personal wedding today, so she's sorry that she couldn't be here. And also, we have Gina from Representative Ulsimer's office here today. And so I know they both, even though this isn't their district, they continue to support all the environmental work and everything great that's happening for our region. And I'm going to ask two things, I guess, to say. I always find it very nice when we make it easier to enjoy our environment, all the beauty that we have. And I find even with the park service that I have in some of the other parts of my district, people always don't know how to utilize and how to go about it, how to go biking, how to do everything. So this makes it really nice and easy. And the second thing is, please share this. You know, use your social medias, use whatever you have in your business to tell people that this is here, how to utilize it, where it is, because we know, but sometimes not everyone else does. So thank you for all the hard work, and it's a beautiful place, Honesdale. I'm very pleased to represent it for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Rosemary. So seriously, Rosemary Brown, Senator Rosemary Brown, is one of the nicest and most effective legislators in Harrisburg, and she is a pure joy to work with. Now, I will mention that the only thing that could beat cookies underneath the podium would be a pina colada maker, okay? But maybe next time, So I would hope and I would fathom to think that oftentimes when people are having a discussion and exchange about Honesdale, that this is said. They say Honesdale's got it going on. Honesdale's got it going on. Well, what is it? What is it? Well, I would mention that is a reverse alarm. Yeah, we're not going back. Nice one. Nice one. I would say that it is optimism and enthusiasm and very real evidence of progress. And we have exactly that in Honesdale. So that begs the next question, well, what makes it happen? And I would say that it's teamwork, it's collaboration. We've got our local folks, we've got county folks, we've got several state agencies, and we have federal working together. And I'm going to say this, and this is something that I learned back in my mid-20s when I was mayor here. When we sit around the table, there are not R's and D's next to our names. There's a W. And that W stands for win. And on a beautiful day like today, with all this evidence behind us, darn it, Honesdale is winning. And it's beautiful to be part of it. Thank you. It's a beautiful thing to be part of, and I will stand down with this comment. You can look forward to the next week or two, some more good news coming from Senator Brown and myself in regards to Honesdale. So we're going to take that momentum, and we're just going to keep it rolling. Thank you for having me.
Love that momentum. Another term I've been using is that we want to be politely persistent. I just think that this took, I think, Molly, there's no one more politely persistent to make something like this happen. So so with that, we'll turn it over to Brian Smith. I hope that wasn't your bus that we're backing up.
That is my bus, but first you'll hear from Jim Shook. Give him a round of applause.
I didn't say anything yet. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for not leaving yet. I know it's been a long presentation, but look around you. Look at all the people here, all the organizations, state, local, your nonprofits that have been involved in this process for over 10 years, probably even much longer, putting it all together to getting this done. Along with that, in the audience here, there's probably half the people here have been involved on doing the legwork, boots on the ground. Grant, Molly, you guys have been working on this forever, and your dreams, your wishes are now actually coming true. This never would have gotten off the ground if it wasn't for the relationships that we have here, especially with the Wayne Memorial Health System. If they weren't generous enough to donate the building and the land to the county to help get this project going, again, that never would have come to fruition. And that's because you look around all the relationships that have put this together. It's time. I wish this could be done. The sad part about this thing is it takes years. It takes years to get these relationships built. But this is what the drive and the perseverance and the dedication does. It produces avenues like this. This is probably the main thing I look forward to as a county commissioner, is in being involved in projects like this. The 90% of what we do in the courthouse was never really where my forte is. I enjoy being involved in the community, working on projects like this, and developing places where your residents, visitors, friends can go and have a good time. Standing here for the last 20 minutes along the river and listening to that water running reminds me of going to bed every night and listening to my wife turning on that little sound machine. And if she was here now, she'd be sound asleep along that fence. Because that's what it is. It's relaxing. The jobs that we do here at the county, mainly providing services to our community. And mainly it's for services for people who need help, whether it's your seniors, people battling drug and alcohol, mental illness. This is, whether or not you know it or not, this is a huge investment in our mental health in this area. This is just as valuable as the regular treatments that they see and they get in the hospitals and dealing with our drug and alcohol and our mental health cases, working with the caseworkers. This is no different. Coming here provides relaxation, relieves stress, takes the tension out of your life, and damn it makes you feel good. It's what it's about, building these types of environments. And this is what's making our job so rewarding. We're part of something really good here, and it brings the whole community together. And the nice part about it, there's no general fund tax dollars involved in this. This is all done through donations, grants, fish and boat funds, everything that's on the Lackawaxen Trails. All the money generated here is done as a collaborative group to make things better. This is not out of the pockets of the taxpayers. This is all done as a group and supported together. And that's what makes this special. That's what makes this rewarding. And that's what makes this healthy. Thank you.
So I always struggle with where to start, particularly when I'm last. First of all, yes, that was my school bus that rolled through here. My son-in-law's driving it for me so that I could be here today. But that's evidence that I'm here every day. You come here, you'll see that school bus. So I watch this project grow every single day. And I want to say that Stefersky guys are here today. Let's give them a round of applause. They did a great job. And again, I want to say it again, Tim Schaefer is a man of his word. All over Wayne County where we had lakes and problems with dams, he promised us years ago he would rebuild them. They had the money to do it. That's happening. Give him a round of applause because Lower Woods is back in place. DCNR, I can't say enough about either. They work with us every time we have a project and we need funds. We can count on the fact that DCNR is there. They're listening. They want to cooperate, and we have people who want to cooperate with them. So give them a round of applause. I would say very importantly, this project would have not happened if it were not for Wayne Memorial Hospital and the community and their foundation, and all the people that vote on the things that they do, because they gave this piece of property and the building to the county to make a park here. And the reason they did it is because they care about their community and they want to do good things in the community. I can't tell you how much we appreciate that. And people need to know that the building that was here was compromised to the point where it had to be taken down. We had a grid on that building because we care about this environment in this corner, and we have part ownership in it. And our engineer looked at that grid on a periodic basis to know that that building was falling into the river. If it was not taken down, there'd be a mess here that would have compromised this local environment and probably environments down the river. So I know we've taken some heat on Facebook about why are they tearing down this old building? It could be rehabbed. Well, guess what? We looked into that. The hospital looked into that. The best thing for that building is to have turned it into something that the future can use from now on. So give the hospital a round of applause. And there's somebody here that really, although there were grants, although there were donations, although there were land acquisitions from people like the Lindys who sold us some property so we could have this beautiful place, somebody has to put that crap together. And I'm going to give a lot of attention today to Vicki Botcher, our CFO, because she's the one behind the scenes, taking the phone calls, making the phone calls, and putting it all together. And I got to tell you, I have 17 grandchildren. Making places for the future is something that I firmly believe in. The one thing that I care about more than anything is that our future people have the quality of life that we grew up with. And if not as good, better. So let's continue to strive to do things together. And like John said, he talked about the W. When you say W to me, it means Wayne County. I'm all in. And I know that you're all in. So thank you very much, all of you.
So next thing on the list, it says ribbon cutting, but we did that already. So I think that'll do it. Thanks to everybody for coming. I guess the last word I'll say that hasn't been brought up today is relevant. I mean, the Lackawaxen River is relevant again. I mean, it was relevant when Bill talked about, when coal was moving down it, but it's relevant as a community asset again. So thank you to everybody for making it happen, and thanks for being here today. That's it. Thank you.
I hate to do this. This is a slight breach of etiquette, folks. But there's one thing I think that was critical that I really wanted to talk about. And that's the kids from Woodland Design. Without them putting this park together and doing the design work that they did, this park would not be here. Now, Mike Wood should be very, very proud because he has children that came back from college that have capabilities that we don't have to look other places for. This happens many times in our community. Don't ever tell me that we need to go outside of our area to get fresh ideas. We send our kids to college, they learn great things, they come back here and they implement them. Let's give one more big round of applause to these young kids from Woodland Design. They did a great job.
So that'll do it for the remarks. If you'd like to get some waters, we do have, if anybody wants a photograph with the ceremonial golden paddle, if anybody wants to put the life jacket on and do some photos, that's what it's here for. But that's it. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, friend.